What's up, y'all? I am Keith. This is The Fragrant Life. Glad you could come back and join me. So this list is only for the people who are living in cold weather, because obviously here today it is like gonna be the high of like 80. So there's no need for me to wear any of these fragrances, but maybe this video will give some of you all an idea of what you could wear or what you could look for in the future if you could find some of these fragrances. So come on back after this. So for those of you who chose to stick around and come on back, welcome. First off, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you, male, female, child, doesn't matter. I hope you all are enjoying yourselves and your families if you decided to hang out with your family, because I know with this pandemic going on, it's kind of nerve-wracking for some people. You don't know whether to go or whether to stay home. So if you're not sure, then definitely stay home. I would much rather somebody be safe and healthy and not catch something and bring it back to their families or their small kids than to go and have fun and then get sick and something dramatic or drastic happens. We don't want that. So this is a rather large list because I have some honorable mentions, and it is probably 3, 6, 9, almost 10 honorable mentions, and I have 10 fragrances laid out here in front of me. So this video is going to be for the gentlemen. This video is for the guys who are going to be hanging out, the uncles, the dads, the granddads, the sons, the older sons that understand, that can hang around the older gentlemen, that is going to be maybe smoking cigars and drinking a little whiskey, some wine, or some kind of alcoholic beverage, that's going to be sitting around watching the game in the man cave or whatever the case may be. This is 10 fragrances for the gentleman. So let's get into it. Now, I'm not going to go into any kind of brief detail about these fragrances. Some of these you may already know about. Definitely go and check out Fragrantica or any of those sites that you can look up the note breakdowns. I will give you a little bit of what it may smell like, but that's about it. This is a rather large video. So first up, from the company Sensual Obsessions, Kevin Holt, I decided to go through and pull out some of the dusties, in which I got a lot of dust on these. This is a fragrance that definitely can be worn around the holiday time, especially in the cold weather. I would not recommend any of these for weather like we're having here, but this is his formulation of Andy Warhol, and this is my absolute favorite from his line, period. I mean, he has some other bangers, but this is the one I love the most. This is his Andy Warhol. What do you get with this Andy Warhol? A very strong, masculine fragrance with some kind of fruit, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know exactly what it is that's in it, but it does have some sweetness to it, which is making me think it's something fruit or plum or something like that. But this is definitely perfect for cooler weather. So that is why I stuck this on the list. My next honorable mention is from Happyland Studios, and this is Plum Loco. And this is from Mr. EJ Wells. I have not worn this one, and I haven't worn this one since I had it maybe once. It just hasn't been cold enough here to wear these. And if we do get cold weather, I can't wear it in the daytime because the lady in the office, she would probably die if I wore something like this. But definitely smells like some kind of plum note in here. Very strong, very potent. All of EJ Wells' fragrances from Happyland Studios are very potent. If you are into extremely strong, long-lasting fragrances, then definitely check out Happyland Studios. I think just about everything EJ Wells has, even though I haven't had the chance to get my nose on a lot of it, is very, very potent, very, very strong, very good. So this is Plum Loco. Just to go ahead and get this out of the way, another dusty. This is perfect for the holiday season, and it is well named. Home for the Holidays by Happyland Studio. And this one is more along the lines of Christmas, because I think there's like a coffee note or something in here. You can definitely pick up coffee. You get kind of like some sweet, like maybe some cookies or something like that. I'm not saying that's what's in this as far as the cookie aspect, but you do pick up the coffee. But the sweetness, it kind of reminds you of, you know, the baking going on in the kitchen, cookies and pies and cakes and stuff like that. This is a perfect holiday scent. So this is Home for the Holidays. Next up, another honorable mention is from, I can't remember the name of this company. I want to say Swiss Arabian, but if you know this one, this is 24 hours. This is Eau de Parfum concentration. Very strong, very masculine type fragrance. I think this is supposed to, if I'm not mistaken, be a clone of Tom Ford's Black Orchid, but I'm not totally sure. If I'm wrong, then definitely correct me in the comment section. But very nice fragrance, very long lasting, very strong, very potent. Next up, from Alexandria Fragrances, the next 4 are from Alexandria. This is Zion. Very strong. It's not overly heavy, but this is a potent type fragrance. I love this fragrance. It kind of has maybe a slight freshness to it. Definitely not as heavy as a lot of these other fragrances I've shown already or the ones on this list, but definitely can be worn in the cold weather to cut through. Zion. And this is actually a citrus, aromatic, woody, and green fragrance. It says on the side of the bottle. Next, Fade to Black, which is one I think I wore to my mother and my stepfather's wedding vow renewal at the church. So this one can be a little bit cloying. This is definitely a powerhouse fragrance. It is sweet, it has honey, tobacco, and it is also fruity. Definitely something you will not want to wear in the cold, in the hot weather, in which that's what I did, but I'm a little weird anyway. Fade to Black, Alexandria. Another Alexandria fragrance, this is Tuscan King. Now I know a lot of people are not going to pay the price that they are asking for this little, what is this, 30 ml bottle. But I think in most cases, these are excellent clones. I'm not sure exactly what this is supposed to be a clone of, but this has leather, birch, and pineapple in it. Definitely don't get a Creative Vintage type vibe from it, from my standpoint, unless it's supposed to be a smokier batch or something. I'm not sure, but whatever this is supposed to be a clone of, this is very good and I like it a lot. And last but not least, from Alexandria, this is Italian Caramel or Caramel. Definitely one that can be worn in the colder months. I'll be glad when I can actually start wearing some of these, but by the time that happens, it'll be spring and summer again. But this is a very nice fragrance if you like sweet fragrances. Definitely one you need to get your nose on. And last but not least, from Dapper Fragrances, this is their formulation of Initio Side Effect. Oh, that smells so good, man. And I may have found the fragrance that I'm going to wear today. Now, this fragrance, very potent, very long lasting, smells phenomenal. Now, I have never gotten my nose on the original Initio Side Effect from Al Rehab. I think it's Al Rehab or Initio Rehab. No, it's not Al Rehab. I'm sorry. Initio Rehab. I don't know what I'm thinking about. Initio Rehab. I have not got my nose on the actual one, but this is their formulation of it. If it smells anything like this, then this is a fantastic fragrance. I think I can pull this one off, but I may change my mind because it is going to be like in the 80s today, and I don't want to choke anybody out. It's going to be close quarters at my mom's house, so maybe another time. Now let's get into this list. First up, this is in no particular order. I just laid them out. I'm just going to grab and go. So at the number 10 spot, a fragrance that I got my nose on. And if it wasn't for Sam Broom, I probably wouldn't have never gotten my nose on any of the Cartier fragrances that I own. I started finding these at TJ Maxx, I think last year sometime. And every time I see one that I don't have, I go ahead and pick it up. But this one in particular, especially with the bottle, is very unique to me. This is Linval de Cartier. And this one has a very unusual top. You just twist it like so. Has a pretty decent atomizer. Oh, this is very nice, man. This is perfect for weather like we're having right now. Whether it's not really too hot outside, it is a little cloudy because it's been raining the past few days. Not today, but the past few days. But this is not one of those heavy duty fragrances. This is a little bit on the lighter side, but this has a note of honey in it, which gives it that little bit of sweetness. I love this fragrance, man. And I wish it was a little cooler outside. I would definitely wear this. So Linval de Cartier at the number 10 spot. At the number 9 spot, Bulgari Man in Black. Now, I've smelled a bunch of the other Bulgari fragrances from this particular line, and I have to say I have not smelled the Oriental version because I haven't found it. But this one, to me, is probably the best if you're looking for something that is suited for cold weather. Perfect for that kind of weather. This will cut through like a hot knife through butter. Get your nose on it. Very masculine, very strong. I have no complaints when it comes to this fragrance. Check it out. Number 8 spot is one I got, I believe, in a trade. And this is not the top for this one. He just found this cap just to stick onto it. But this is from the house of Guerlain. This is La Instant de Guerlain pour homme eau de parfum. And if I butchered that name, I apologize. I'm not perfect. This, I don't know if that's a boozy accord, but it smells boozy, a little bit earthy. This is a nice fragrance. I didn't get compliments when I wore this to the hospital when I was there from ladies. It was an older gentleman that was working with me that actually gave me a compliment on this, which is why I kept it. Because at first I wasn't sure about it, but once I started getting that once I got that compliment, that kind of solidified it for me. I know that's kind of weird for me to say or for some people to hear, but that's just me. If I'm not getting compliments, and I know I should be wearing fragrances for me, but if I'm not getting compliments off of fragrances, then something to me isn't right, or it's just maybe not for me. I know sometimes people aren't going to compliment me because I do have a unit on my face, a me mug, but sometimes I just be deep in thought. It's not because I'm trying to be a bully or nothing like that. But this is a great fragrance, man. And if you can find this in the wild, definitely pick it up. I found something similar to this in a gift set, and I can't remember if I still have it or not. But anyway, this is a very good fragrance. Check it out. Next up, 7 Spot Tom Ford for Men. I think this is a perfect fragrance to be sitting around with the guys. If it's cold, you're sitting in the man cave. This is very non-offensive, very gentlemanly, well-blended fragrance. Yeah, perfect scent for colder weather. Definitely check it out if you can find a bottle of this for a decent price. I actually got this in a trade also. So with that being said, check this one out also. One that may be a little on the expensive side, but this actually was given to me in a trade with Matt Hand from Georgia Gent, the channel Georgia Gent, I should say. I gifted him a big box of fragrances when he first started his channel, and he gave me a smaller box of fragrances in a trade, and this actually was in it, and he didn't care for it. He got it from somebody. This is Dior Homme Intense. Basically a full bottle of it. I only wore it once, but this is a very masculine, very nice, sophisticated type fragrance. Man, I just wish it got cold enough to wear fragrances like this more often. Definitely want to get your nose on it, even if you don't get you a bottle of it. But you know, fragrances like this, I definitely suggest you get your hands on at least a small bottle of this if possible. Number 5. This is one that gets love and hate in the fragrance community. A lot of people don't like it because of the strength, but I think this is a perfect fragrance for cold weather from the house of Bentley. This is Bentley for Men Intense, and it always makes people's lists. Some people hate it being on lists. I don't mind it at all. This is a great boozy type fragrance. Kind of reminds you of the inside of a big boy Bentley, spanking brand new. This is very inexpensive. You can find this one maybe $30 something online. I'm not totally sure. I did order this from Fragrance X when I first started my fragrance collection. The reason why you see a lot of these bottles still kind of full is because I don't wear the same fragrances more than once over and over and over. A lot of people will pick a fragrance and just keep wearing it and wearing it and wearing it. And somebody told me one time that a man should never smell the same every single day. So I take heed to that. I don't wear the same fragrances over and over and over, not even my favorite fragrances. But this is one of my favorites, Bentley for Men Intense. Number 4 spot is going to one I actually got in a trade also, and there was a little bit of discrepancy with this one. I'm not going to go into detail, but this is a very nice fragrance. I didn't like the aqua version of it. It was way too light. It didn't last long, but this is Fendi Fendi. This is a nice fragrance. Oh, that smells so good. It definitely is not as aggressive as some of these other ones. I would put this next to Tom Ford for Men. Not saying that it smells alike, but it's in the same wheelhouse as far as like it being smooth. This is not aggressive like Bentley for Men Intense. Not sure. I haven't checked on the pricing of these recently, but if you can get this for a decent price, definitely pick it out. Fendi Fendi. Number 3 is one I believe that's discontinued, and a young gentleman down in Miami, sometime back, I guess he was a subscriber of mine. He hit me up and he said, hey man, you know, I live in Miami. It's way too hot. It's never really cold to wear this fragrance. Would you like to do a trade? So I traded him a freshie. Can't remember what it was, but I got this in return. And this is Versace Man. Very nice tobacco fragrance. You don't hear a lot of people talk about this anymore. I do believe it's discontinued. If it's not, please correct me in the comment section. Tobacco based fragrance. Smells so good. It's not a wet tobacco like Calvin Klein's Shock, CK Shock. That's more of a wet tobacco or tobacco leaf. This is more almost like a dry tobacco to me, but it's still good. Performance on it is not bad. It just doesn't get cold enough here to wear some of these fragrances. So that's number 3. I'm sorry, number 3. Number 2 is my absolute favorite. Now I do like others from the house, from this house, but this is probably the first one I found in TJ Maxx, and it was in one of those coffin type boxes that open up. And when I smelled this, I thought there was a note of plum, and to this day I still think that there's a note of plum every time I smell it, but there's no plum in this. This is from the House of English Laundry. This is Windsor Pour Homme, and I think this fragrance is perfect for cold weather. Like I say, I don't know, it's just my nose, but it just gives me like this heavy, dark kind of fragrance. I don't know what the notes are in this. I never really looked them up, but I love this scent. I absolutely love it. I do like the other ones like Tahitian Waters. Cambridge Night was okay. It kind of smells like Invictus to me. There's a few others that I'm not going to go into, but this is a very nice fragrance, very inexpensive. You can find these, if not in a single bottle like this, you'll find it in a gift set for like $12.99 or $14.99. It's pretty inexpensive. So give this a shot also. Windsor Pour Homme, English Laundry. And I know a lot of you are thinking, where are some Creed fragrances? Well, not on this particular list. I'm not a huge fan, and if I did own Creed's Viking, it definitely would have fell into this category. I love that fragrance. I think that's my absolute favorite one because I've smelled several ones. Not a huge fan of Creed Aventus, but this particular fragrance house I was never a fan of either until this particular line started catching my attention, and now I have almost all of them. This one I didn't like at first, and I actually bought it. I smelled it. I took it back to Ross, and then as my nose matured years later, I started finding these pop up more and more in stores, so I started picking them up, and this is one I picked up again. This is from the House of Banana Republic. This is number 17, Oud Mosaic. And whether or not this is real oud, I'm thinking that it may be synthetic oud, but whatever the case may be, definitely has a slight skanky kind of animalic type smell to it. I wasn't a huge fan of those type fragrances, but I am learning to get my nose on them and appreciate them. Shout out to Fragrance Journey 01 in this video, because he's really the one I've been watching and get my nose on some of these fragrances. Sam Broom is another one that sent me a couple that I didn't like at first, but now I'm starting to get to like some of those fragrances. So this is with no exception. Very nice smelling fragrance. I suggest if you're a oud fan on the lower level, then definitely check this one out before you go into that higher end stuff. I'm not saying not to, but just take your time when it comes to getting into fragrances like this. So that's my number 1 spot, guys. Hope you enjoyed this list. I know it was rather long. I didn't go into deep description about these fragrances, and if that wasn't enough, like I said, you can go to Fragrantica or Base Notes or any of those other websites and look the notes up. Definitely, you can order some of this stuff, get you some decants, some samples, get your nose on them. And once again, happy Thanksgiving to you all. I, for one, am going to still be putting out videos today. The party don't stop just because it's a holiday. I'm going to keep pumping. You all do the same. Remember to stay safe. I'm out of here, y'all. Here is to smelling great. Peace.